Hey guys, Mike here. Happy Friday night. So, we're going to talk about how to deal with an unsupportive spouse or family member. And hopefully, if that unsupportive spouse or family member is near you, you'll walk away and take this off of speaker. I'm going to give you some tips, and I don't know how this is going to go. And I want to give you my best piece of advice, but also my number one tip, because when I was building my business, I had a very unsupportive spouse. Said that she was supportive. I also had, I don't want to say had family members that weren't supportive, because all my family did support me. It was just kind of at their own pace and at their own time. And I'll explain that because I think that's worth telling as well. Well, you know what? Maybe I should open up with that. So when I first joined and I want to talk primarily network marketing, because I think this is where the most challenging in network marketing. Listen, if you open up your own traditional business and it fails and doesn't do okay, right? Well, before you even start that, right? Everyone wants to support you, right? You want to go open up a deli, you want to go open up an ice cream stand, you want to go open up whatever. If it's a traditional business, your family is going to support you. I'll go, you can do it for the most part. You're also going to get some people to say, I think you're a little crazy, right? Because you have kids, or you're going to leave your job, or how are you going to do both? Like, everyone wants to give you their opinion. And I think most people are more supportive when it comes to a traditional business than it comes to network marketing, right? Because I had some people thought I was crazy when I started my own business, and yeah, they gave me their opinions, but I wanted to, and you know what? Yeah, some of them were right. Should I have listened to them? Absolutely not. Would I have saved $30,000 if I listened to them? Absolutely. But there was something to be learned in that. Now, network marketing, right? You would think, people would be more supportive, right? Because, low fee to, barrier to entry. It's very inexpensive to join. Plus, you get some great products. Everything I put in my body is pretty much a network marketing product. So, and again, I think, especially now with social media, I think it's a way for us to get our voice out there more. Maybe your spouses are tired of hearing about it, right? And they're tired of hearing you say, I'm going to make a lot of money, or I'm going to get rich, or I'm going to retire you, or I'm going to do this. See, I think a lot of people, now I'm guilty of this, by the way, and I'm speaking from my experience. I was very just young and naive, and I ran around and made all those claims, right? That I was going to do this and I was going to do that. Now, I believe in saying things like that, right? But you've got to be careful who you say that to. Because there's some people that, believe it or not, they want you to fail. They're waiting for you to fail. You try, this is your fifth company, your ninth opportunity, because you're hungry and you're working for, and by the way, if that's you, you're one of those people where you've tried a bunch of different things. I want to congratulate you for persevering, because you've probably been through more negativity than most people. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with figuring stuff out to figure stuff out, right? Because it's only going to help you, as long as you're learning from something. I mean, you're not just starting stuff and quitting just to quit, but you're really trying, and maybe it's just not the right opportunity. Maybe it's not the right leaders. Maybe not everything comes together at the right time. Listen, I was very fortunate. I get it. I had the best mentors in my first company. The second company, I was ready. I was prepared, but I also put 10 years in, and we rocked the second company. And I was able to find some great leaders, and the company came together at the right time. I was at the right place at the right time with the right leaders. Not everyone is that fortunate. You're dealing with someone that is unsupportive, right? You're excited about it, right? You want to get out of the situation that you're in. You want to take care of your kids. Maybe you want to take care of your husband or your wife, and you're doing all the right things for the right reasons, but your spouse doesn't acknowledge you for that. And your spouse doesn't support you. Now, I will say this, and hopefully if you're in that situation, your spouse isn't listening, and I'm not here to give you marriage or relationship advice. That is not me. But here's what I do know. It sucks to be in that relationship. When you have dreams and goals and that person isn't supporting you. And I know what it feels like firsthand. Because my kid's mom I got your back. And I was very clear. This is the lifestyle that I want. I'm not a 9 to 5 kind of guy. I'm not, right? And if you want a 9 to 5 kind of guy, that's not me. Oh yeah, I want an entrepreneur type that's going to work 90 hours a week so he doesn't have to work 8 hours a day, right? Yeah, I want all those things. Yeah, I want this, I want that. Yeah, want it, but didn't realize what it was going to take. Therefore, wasn't supportive. But I know what it's like to be in that relationship where when I was building my first company, we were very home meeting strong. Like that was our business. So I literally ran around at night and I was like gone from probably 5 o'clock. Sometimes I didn't get home until midnight. So from 5 p.m. to midnight, like 5-6 days a week, that's what I was doing. Not every spouse will support that. So here's my number one tip is if you're in a situation where you have an unsupportive spouse or a family member, like maybe you're still living with your parents or you just have somebody around you, a cousin, a brother, whatever. Maybe they're just in your life all the time and they're just not supporting you. Where you saw somebody in your profession that was broke 6 weeks ago and this week they made $1 million and you're fired up and you know you can do it. But no one's supporting you. I know what that feels like. So here's my number one piece of advice is that if it's your spouse, you have a serious conversation with your spouse. Say, hey, listen, we need to talk. And you sit your spouse down and say, listen, I know you really haven't been supportive. You're kind of making fun of my business. And here's why I'm doing it. I understand that I'm not around from 5 p.m. to midnight. And you're still working a job. And this and that. And I'm trying to run my... And I get it that we're not spending that much time together. Quality time. But it's a sacrifice for a season of our lives. And you need to be really good at painting this vision and painting this picture of what it's going to be like. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. Hopefully sooner than later. And if you just support me. Females that are watching this, and if you have your spouse is an entrepreneur, I mean, you need to be his biggest cheerleader. That's usually what guys want. We just want a cheerleader. Like, we can do anything, right? You pump your man up. He's going to go out there and crush the world for you. And guys, same thing for your women. Like, let them know you got their back. Especially when times are tough. Yeah, maybe she's trying, to build something and it just hasn't worked. She hasn't gotten one customer, recruited anybody, and spent $9,000. But you got her back. That is what a relationship is truly about. So here's a conversation that I had. I just need you to support me. And this is what it's going to be like. Are you in? Yeah, I'm in. Listen, if you're not, just let me know. I'm cool with that. Just let me know. There's some things that we need to work out. Yeah, I'm in. But then when I would have to go to meetings and I'd have to go, I wasn't trying to drag her to conventions. I wasn't saying you have to go. You need to be on every webinar with me. I didn't do any of that stuff. I just said, listen, this is what I want to do. Just support me. When time came that I had to run around and do meetings, I missed some sporting events or I was late, the support wasn't there. It was like, so eventually it ended. But my vision, it took me longer to get there, but I got there. And then she hated on that vision because it came to fruition. But that's okay. So you need to let your spouse know, listen, this is why you're doing it. I'm doing it for us. I'm doing it because I want to give my kids a better life. I want to put them in private school versus public school. Or for me, I wanted to get my kids out of the city. And I always had big dreams. I wanted to live in the suburbs. I wanted to live in a big house. So I painted this. This is what... It was for you. It was for our kids. Like, I want to retire you. I want to take, and this, so we can travel, we can do this. Because listen, you go out and make all this money. It's not just about you. You have a family. So you need to get your spouse on the same page. Now, if they're not on the same page and they're kind of putting you down, man, I know it really sucks. So I would pray about it. Okay, that's my answer. But for those of you that have family members that are not supportive, like my brother, who took, I don't know. Now listen, I'm brand new, right? So when you're brand new, you need to get a handful of customers. You need to get a couple people, to join or to see a meeting or whatever. Well, who do you turn to? Friends and family. Who can you count on? Hopefully friends and family. Now, for those of you that have family that have supported you, you need to give them big hugs. But so my own brother, who owed me money, by the way, took 6 months to become a customer of mine. And by the way, I was in a service-based company that was going to save him money on a bill he was paying anyway. And I said, forget about the $20 you owe me, Dave. I just need you to become a customer because I need to get qualified. Well, 6 months when you're brand new is a long time. But my older sister, I don't know, it was probably like 8 months. I mean, this is family. I don't want to say they weren't supportive because they did eventually. But, again, I had to kind of, listen, if you have family that come to you and ask you for help, help them if you can. But if you have a family member or a spouse that is just like negative, they're just like putting it down, they're talking bad about it, you need to put them in their place in a nice, professional, respectable manner. Don't talk about my business. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear what you think, right? Because you're going to get some of those family members that once you tell them what you're doing, guess what they do? They go on to Google and they Google everything. See, this girl didn't make any money. There's a million different reasons. And just because it's on the internet, everyone believes everything, right? Which is crazy. If you're not going to support me and be positive, just don't talk about it. You need to be focused on mastering your craft. Get away from that negativity. So because my sister, she's married to my brother-in-law, he made fun of me, right? Made fun of me, and I'll never forget it. I came back from my first convention, and like my first time like traveling. I never traveled. And my first big convention to the West Coast was out in California, Long Beach. It was awesome. I'm pumped up, a weekend of 20,000 people, just like dreaming, fired up, calling my mom, hey, I'm going to retire you. Like, oh, right? I come home. I get home from the Philadelphia airport. I pull up to my mom's house, and guess who was there? My brother-in-law. And I'm coming in with my bags. And you know what he says to me? Where were you? I'm like, oh, I was in California. What are you doing in California? Well, yeah, that thing you're involved in? Yeah. It was like the phone thing, that energy thing. Did you have to pay for it? Did they cover your expense? I'm like, no, I had to pay for it. What kind of company makes you pay for? He says, well, my company pays for me to travel, right? Because he's got a job, right? He's got a whatever. This isn't a job, but I got upset. My motivation was to work harder to prove him wrong and work my butt off. I remember this one month, I got this commission check, and I couldn't believe it. And I'm driving, I'm in the city, and I'm driving. I drive by this car lot, and I'm like, that's a really nice Mercedes. I can afford that. Look down at your front hood. He's like, you'll never have another bad day again. And I'm all pumped up, fired up. I literally drove from the city up to my brother-in-law's house, which was probably about 45 minutes away, pulled right into his driveway. He's like, what are you doing here? All right. I'm just like, yeah, go look outside. He looked outside, didn't say a word. Nothing. Coming from where I came from, no one in my family ever had a Mercedes. No one ever, made a 5-figure check in a month, right? He didn't say a word. Not a word. That fueled me. It was kind of like vitamins for me. It was like steroids. I was on fire because I wanted to prove people wrong. But I believe it's a big waste of time because I should have spent more time focusing in on leadership and not caring about what other people thought. Now, it took me a while to finally get to the place where I don't care what other people think. I don't need the fancy car. I don't care about the watch. I don't care about the house. I don't care about all that nonsense anymore. Here's what I care about: impacting other people. And I'm hoping that somebody here is watching this that is getting value out of it, and you're able to have that conversation with your spouse and say, listen, I want to do this. This is something I want to do. Or anyone in your family should ever try to control you and tell you what you should do or not support you in what you want to do. It's not healthy. For me, I just wanted someone to believe in me. I just needed someone to get my back. Because you have people, yes, they make money on what you do, but the good leaders believe in you and they want to help you succeed them. Good leaders want you to succeed them. They don't want you just to follow them forever. But the only way that's going to happen is you have this conversation with your negative spouse, with your negative family member, and say, listen, I just need you to support me. Or shut up and let me focus and learn what I need to learn. I had a mentor to me, say this to me one time, and it makes so much sense. He said, if you didn't make $1 for 5 years, you didn't make $1, but on your 5th year anniversary in day 1, you start making 10 grand a month, is it worth it? To me, I was like, yeah. I just spent 7 years in college. I have all this student loan debt, and I'm only going to be able to get a job to make $30,000, $40,000 a year. So yeah, to me, it's worth it. The great news about network marketing is that you can make some money along the way. And if you get a $500 check here and a $1,000 check there, a $100 check here, or you get some product for free along the way, is that okay? Your 5th year, day 1, you start making $2 grand a month, $5 grand a month, 10 grand a month. There is no other opportunity in the world that an average person like me can go out there and make that kind of money. You need to take the time to learn your craft. And everybody's on a different path. Your path is different than mine. Mine is different than yours. So don't compare yourself to other people, but don't spend time. If it's not getting you closer to your goal, shut it down. If it's not getting you closer to your goal, shut it down.